Johnny's top 10 versus my top 10. We're going to talk about a lot of the different things that are going on in regards to where you see yourself, who are the GMs. We're going to talk about the GMs as well, because that's going to play a very important aspect to what's going on is honestly the GMs. Because at the end of the day, the GMs are either a player or a goaltender on the team. So it's going to be important to make sure that we are talking about them specifically. So definitely something that I want to go over. Definitely something that we're going to talk about. So we'll go over. I have Johnny's top 10 here somewhere. Maybe I closed it. I'll find it here while we're on, but we are on location here. We're at the St. Albert Canadian Brew House. This is where the draft will be taking place. I don't think that's the one I want. I'm looking for the specific draft board here, so just give me a second. I know it's here. I just had it. So here's Johnny's top 10, which we'll go over. There we go. Okay. So, I mean, the biggest thing at the end of the day is going to be, and this is important in the OSHL as well, is going to be talking about the GMs to begin with, because the GMs bring a whole different type of thread to um, this setup and kind of what your team looks like. So the GMs being, I mean, some of them being very good hockey players, which is why it's important as a GM you bring, a certain level to your team to kind of help you out. So that's kind of what we're going to go over. Um, so welcome everyone as we get going here. The draft, I believe, is supposed to start pretty quickly, but I'll keep you posted on that. I know they're still getting set up in regards to some things. Just one second here. He can put the camera wherever. I'm gonna have the board up as well. Oh yeah, yeah. Making some adjustments as we get set up here. Take a look at what this actually looks like. Okay, we're good. So if you guys have any questions or any concerns or you don't hear picks, I'm gonna try and make sure that we have the picks up on the board for you so that you guys can see everything. Just throw it under. Or bring it around this way. Just helping Ginther get set up here. Oh, you got enough room there. I'll just take the whole thing. So yeah, let's talk about the GMs. I mean, ultimately, like I was saying, the GMs are going to play a big role. So the 8 GMs currently, 3 of them being goalies, 5 of them are players. So Phil and Blake Lewin plus Blake Barge, Dave Shaw, Nolan Musey, Jay Delseed, Scott Dorham, and Vincent Bond. So I mean, you've got some really good players here. You've also got some very good goalies. Vincent Bond, fantastic goaltender. Both Blakes are, I mean, they're unreal goaltenders. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to be taking a GM position as a goalie, it's important that you're going to be able to kind of backstop your team and can be a cheat code in a number of ways where, you're able to get a number of responses from your team and kind of back everybody up. And as we were talking about, Vinny just walks in right now. So we're gonna talk about a couple of the players. I'm gonna kind of compare Johnny's top 10 to mine and kind of see where the players are at there. So Johnny's top 10, obviously Joel Anderson and Scott Holben are going to be the top 2 with TJ Davila in third. But here's the thing. I honestly think TJ Davila, um, like such a good hockey player. And I'd like to say that he could be up a little bit higher. Um, but Joel Anderson and Scott Holben are so good that it's tough to compare and just say that, one's going to be better than the other because they bring different aspects to the game. Um, Obviously the 3 of them having great vision, um, being able to see everything that goes on, great passing. All of them have great shots. So it's, when in regards to the top top three themselves, there's not a lot of difference, but you are getting different players. Like TJ is more of a nimble player, can stick handle a little bit better than the other two, but is a smaller player. And on the flip side, you've got Joel and Scott who are bigger guys, and they can stick handle it, but not as good as TJ, but have better shots than TJ. And that's just the way it goes. When you're a little bit bigger, you will have a bigger shot. Marcus Johnson, number 4. I don't know if I'd entirely agree with him being in the fourth place position, but still a good player. And then Marcio Mendez, obviously, Mendez playing with the Savages over in the fall season, and was playing in nationals in the last nationals tournament. Very good hockey player, great read, more of a defensive role, but can play forward, has good hands most of the time. So pretty good. Um, Colin Plump, obviously Colin, everyone knows Colin. He's great. Um, Good guy. Family man, actually. Very talented hockey player. And something that will obviously might mix up because he may go even sooner than the other two. Like I said, Marcus I think might be rated a little bit higher, but I do feel that possibly he'll be maybe fall a couple spots um, for Mendez, possibly Fisher, but I mean it really depends. And then we get down to Fisher and Sams, very similar players. Cody Sams obviously is a non-stop runner. Kid right now is playing in Div 10, definitely playing below where he should be. Very fast, has a fantastic shot. Still working on his hands. I know that is something that is a little bit of a drawback, but I can also see Cody going a little bit higher than possibly where he's ranked right now, as he's ranked in 8th place to go. But again, I mean, it really comes down to the GMs, where the GMs place these guys in their status, and where they're going to fall. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what it comes down to is, what the GMs have seen from these players in the past, whether we are playing against them or working with them, or play with them on the same team, anything like that. Um, Let me just move the camera here so you guys can see what's going on. Hey, there's Get there. Hey, there's the man, Johnny Grant himself. And then kind of pushing through, obviously, Frank Arnault and Devin Cheer. I mean, both, again, solid guys. Frank likes to play and pretend he can be a forward, but mainly as a defenseman. And again, 3-on-3 is a totally different game. I mean, it is not 5-on-5. And this goes for Cody Sams as well. You don't need the level of stamina that you need in a full rank 5v5. So it may change the ranking positions. We'll see ultimately at the end of the day kind of where everyone goes. Obviously, Mendez thinking maybe that he should have been lower than 5th. Um, but ultimately, at the end of the day, yeah, that's kind of where we sit. We are waiting for the start of the draft. Like I said, we're just getting ready to set up the final parts of where everyone's going to go. We do have the live draft board up, so we can see that. We'll constantly be referring to that. I believe Vinny has the first overall pick, which is great. So Vincent Vaughn, he's going to be picking first overall, and has like I was saying, he has a kind of a great selection to choose from. But then, he obviously doesn't pick until 16th and then 17th. So we saw no trades, right? We saw no trades of positioning for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, great. That's great. It was weird. I wasn't seeing it. I was like, do these guys know they should be trading? I know Scott's all over that, but yeah. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. 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 Okay. So there are a bunch of trades, obviously, that have gone out. Um, the live draft board right now is accurate, correct? Is right. Okay. So we're looking at an accurate 100% up to date board um, as of right now. Yeah, Frank top 10. Kyle, what's going on? There is no game tonight. This is just the draft night. So we are working with the Jungle Hockey League, the JHL, in cooperation with Ball Hockey TV. We're just covering the draft tonight for the 3-on-3 turn or season. It's not even a tournament. It's a season now that is going to span. What are we at for number of games for the season? 10 games? And then, oh, beautiful. Okay, so best of three playoffs, 10 games throughout the season, um, which is honestly remarkable. It's going to be a good time. We are going to be covering, I'm going to say 99% of the games. We will be live at the facility, uh, monitoring the games because this is going to be interesting. We want to cover it right from the very start, right to the very finish, because we want everyone to kind of get an immersive view of kind of what goes into this, the draft, what the draft looks like, and then can see the results of that as we work our way through the season and kind of get to playoffs. So we've got the draft board that's up. There we go. It's all right here. So it's 10 game season. The top eight qualify for playoffs. So the bottom two teams will not make the playoffs. Um, and then it's going to be best of three for playoffs. We will review on a weekly basis everything that's going on in regards to um, placement, where they were the previous week, who they've gone up against, what GMs are doing what. We want to go over point spread. We want to go over the individual talent for each players. There's a lot of things that we want to cover. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity for everyone to kind of participate. And then this hopefully will drive interest into next season, so that you can see and get drafted onto a team and then play 3-on-3 on that team. Honestly, going to be a great time. So if you are interested in this and are interested possibly in getting into it next season, please reach out to me. Let me know. I can point you in the right direction to get connected with the guys from JHL that are putting this season on. Each game that they have is going to be two 25-minute halves. So it's two 25-minute halves, and yeah, it's gonna be tremendous. Honestly, I think it's gonna be good, fast play. They will have an official on the floor. Um, so right now, I believe we're sitting at how many players are we at? Yeah, 56 players, 6 players a team. So it's gonna be pretty great. I'm just gonna run through and post a couple of things. Just bear with me here. So as we get the board ready to go, I'm gonna try and find a way to capture a larger version of the board here and just see if it's something that I can do while they finish getting the TV set up, so everyone can see the current draft positions and who's been drafted. So a few of the players that are going to be in this group. I mean, we do have some good players that are not in the top 10 that are in this group. Um, and it's honestly a long bench here of good players. And it makes it very difficult for the GMs to choose from this long list, um, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you have so many good players and you don't necessarily know where they're going to be ranked. So it's important that you do your research on the players. You find out where they're playing. You find out, what level of play they're good at, especially when it comes to the goalies. Have you seen the goalies play? Have you done a number of things? So Yeah, so, I mean, ultimately they can be, if they want to be there, I can move the camera here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, sorry, I can grab me a water. Yeah, thank you. If you guys do want to capture the board, you'll have to update it and refresh the page as we go along here. Um, Johnny's making the announcement for the started. Hope you guys wore makeup. I mean, most of you are pretty anyway. All right, we're about to get started here. So I'm going to bring my camera down because they're going to come up on camera. It might be loud for a second here. I'm going to now turn on the sound for the camera. So there's going to be camera sound. Oh, let me move it up.
All right, I'm going to pick Joel and Jason. Weird.
All right, so Joel Anderson, obviously the very first overall pick. We kind of predicted, like we said, I mean, Johnny predicted it right. Joel Anderson going very first on this team. So we got it updated. Dave Shaw is going to be up second. So a little bit of movement from the prediction. Marcus Johnson going third overall, slated to go fourth. I thought he was going to go lower. I actually thought he was going to go lower.
With the fourth overall pick, I'm very happy to take TJ Davila.
TJ Davila, number 4, fantastic hockey player. Fourth overall, TJ Davila. So that knocks out our top 4 here. These guys are all out. We'll kind of work through the list as we go, and we'll see Dennis Davidson comes in with the 5th overall pick. I think Dennis was slated to go 74th, and he jumps all the way up to 5th overall. But in all honesty, Davidson is a very good hockey player. Has played with the Voodoo for a very long time. Happy for him. 5th overall. Dennis Davidson is now picked.
Divine Cheer.
Let me see
Divine
it.
Cheer.
All right. Divine is it. Devin, originally slated 10th, goes 6th overall. Nolan UC now up the 7th overall pick. There's now a GM discussion happening. So what will happen is usually these GM discussions will take place, or if they want to trade position, stuff like that. You're good to go.
From the Montreal Red Light, Frank Arnaud.
So Frank Arnaud, Frank the Tank himself. I think he's never been picked in the first round ever, so Frank goes 7th overall. 7th overall.
Would you guys like to order any food right now?
I'm good, thanks.
Sure, steak plates. Yeah.
Nice close-up of our waitress.
Side
Thank
cheese or
you
not that big, no?
to the Canadian Brew House for hosting us here tonight.
Yeah.
All the mutts that are kind of in St. Albert right now. So UC selects Frank Arnaud, 7th overall. Brings Phil back up for his 2nd pick in the first round.
Kevin Shields.
There you go. So jumping back to our top 10. Shields goes 10th overall. They, like I said, with Cody Sams and a few of these other guys, speed isn't so much a factor in 3-on-3. But I mean, fatigue sets in, especially when you have one sub to go on with. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the next few picks, because these picks are very, I mean, every pick on your team is very important. But these picks are crucial because, nice. So the last player picked in the draft gets a $50 Amazon card, which I would be calling for. I know Johnny Grant's hoping he gets picked last. It's a nice gift from Johnny Grant and JHL Brew. We bring up Jay Delcy for the 9th overall pick.
The
first overall pick for Grant picks Mendez.
Mendez goes 9th overall. Marcio Mendez, originally slated to go 5th overall, now drops down to the 9th position. Just so you know, Mendez, you were picked after Frank Arnaud, which is devastating for your career at this point. So I apologize for that. I would have picked you sooner.
Take my buddy, Zach Ewad.
Zach now goes. He's going to be 10th overall. So Mendez picked 9th. Zach now goes 10th. We'll see how UC picks here throughout the draft. See if he just picks his buddies throughout this entire draft. Which is, I mean, honestly, it's not so bad. Zach is out now. He's been picked. And we'll do our best to kind of go through as picks are getting picked up. But for the most part, we're going to stay with the board and kind of track and keep everyone posted on who is getting picked when, so that you guys can follow it. It's important. Love to see the picks. Yeah. Cody Sams. Sorry about the echo. I'll turn it down. I apologize for that. I know it's a lot of the camera. Thank you so much. It's a lot of the camera audio pickup. What I'll do is I'll just keep the camera muted, and I'll unmute the camera when they step up to pick. This way and I know you guys can see what's going on my end, but that's fine. You can see that it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to hear. So Cody Sams gets picked. Cody Sams gets picked in the 11th overall position by Dave Shaw. A very good pickup for the team. So now has Holben and Sams. Sorry? So I know I can set a preset, but so I believe it was Dallas that was selected. Let's find him on our list here. Where are you? His last name is Merkler. Colin Plump. Okay, he goes. I'm trying to. Oh, there he is. So Dallas Merkler was selected. Colin now gets selected. He's going to go 13th overall. We don't need to hear them. Yeah. Yeah, so last player that is picked last gets a $50 gift card from Johnny Grant and the boys over at JHL. Ooh. So Ginther, who's sitting right next to me and has a pretty face, he's nice to look at, gets selected 14th overall. So again, Plump picked at 13. Ginther picked at 14. I didn't hear who they picked at 15, so we'll wait for the draft board to be updated. Yeah, Yariwan picked at 15th overall. So that team looking pretty deadly, not going to lie. Should make things very interesting. Obviously, with our first few picks, I mean, now Vinny's going to step up. Vinny has back-to-back picks here just after Scott does. I don't think you can buy a stick off of Amazon, can you? And what kind of stick you get for $50 off Amazon? That's the real question. All right, so that brings us to Vinny. Vinny has back-to-back picks here. These are crucial picks for his team as he had the first overall pick, to which he picked Joel Anderson, and now he slides all the way down to 16th and 17th from first. And naturally, that's how these picks go. But then you'll see Vinny have another big gap, so he'll have another, 6 or 8 team gap, and then after that he drops all the way down. His last 3 picks are around 6 and 7. So he traded up for this 17th pick, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens. Okay, Vinny's walking up now. Let's see what he has to say.
Right. I'm going to pick James Fisher and Sanjay Sarkar.
Yeah, sorry about that. Um, it's going to be super interesting to see where these picks come for Vinny. So Vinny being a goalie GM, he is. I mean, he doesn't have another pick now, and for another 6 picks, and then he's going to drop down into the 6th round. He's going to have the first and the last pick of the round 6. He's going to have the first pick of round 7. So this is a strategy that he's going to deploy here to try and pick up some solid back end guys when trading up his picks. Obviously, he traded up to get 17 or 24, and now he's facing lower picks on the bottom to increase his top picks. So again, we'll see where these lie. A goalie and 6 players on your team, and yeah, I mean, we'll see where these guys fall, where they'll end up, and we'll kind of go from there. So our next pick is going to go to Blake here. Sorry, what was it? Barnes. Barnes is now going to go. So Barnes being selected 18th overall, second round. Sorry, second overall in the 3rd round. So we'll see what Vinny has. He's going to pull off some picks here. Barnes gets selected, like I said, second in the 3rd round, which is 18th overall. We're now going to slide to Scott Dorham, who's going to be selecting 19th. In some discussions currently with some GMs. Here comes Scott. Just walking up here. We'll see what he selects. Stand by for his selection.
First goal off the board, David Mercier.
Oh, it looks like, I think he said Dave, the first goaltender. Is that right? First goalie to go? Yeah, there we go. So the first goalie to go is going to be David Mercier. He is a fantastic, very, very athletic goaltender. A great pickup. We kind of figured he was going to go first in the goalie selection here, outside of the GM. So David Mercier right here. So David Mercier goes first goaltender to go outside of the GMs, like I said. Uh, Again, another great pick. Very athletic goaltender. Can't go wrong. So next we're going to have Blake come up.
Uh, 20th overall, Lyle Titus.
So I believe that's Lyle that's going to be gone here. So Lyle goes. Lyle Titus has now been selected, which brings us to our 21st overall pick. So our 5th pick in the 3rd round. So Jay is going to come up and make his selection. I suspect that Jay will pick a goaltender in this. Obviously, he's going to pick a goaltender this round, I believe. And if you look at Jay's picks here, what he did is he traded his first round pick and got 2 mid-level picks. So he doesn't have his bottom pick. So it was going to be a 3-way trade for his first round pick. And obviously, he got rid of his 2 bottom picks and picked up 2 fifth-round picks. So a great job by Jay. Let's see what Jay has to say.
Goalie, David Scott.
David Scott gets selected. Like I said, he has now selected his goaltender. David Scott goes to Jay Delacede's team. So a very good pickup. We knew Jay was going to take a goalie early because he will need a goalie to back his team for sure. And with Mendez on his team, I mean, it's clear he's going to have a good team. So some good picks coming out. Like I said, once the first goalie goes, you usually see a mad scramble for the next 2 or 3, 4 goalies, and then the last couple goalies will be selected in usually the last round because they're going to try and focus on players instead of goaltending picks. And obviously, every single pick is important at this point to make sure that your team is solidified as you want it to be. You want to have a good team, depending on how you're designing your team and who you're designing your team around. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. So Dave Shaw now going to be up for the 22nd overall pick.
Trevor Ellsworth.
Trevor Ellsworth goes. Trevor Ellsworth selected 22nd overall. Ellsworth being a very senior player. He plays for the Alberta Havoc. He also plays on Team Canada in the Masters division. So Ellsworth, a very experienced pickup, definitely worth it. He brings a lot of knowledge, has great sight, and a fantastic shot. The guy blocks about 1,000,000 shots a game. Last OSHL tournament, I mean, he blocked a shot with his face. So I mean, the guy just he wasn't even phased. Like, he was phased for half a second, and he gets up and he continues to play. The guy's a machine. I don't understand. If I got hit in the face, I'd probably cry a lot. Kyle saying leave it to Blake to draft soldiers. Yep, absolutely. All right, so Jay's up here for his.
Beauty Brent Lowry.
So Lowry goes. So Lowry's going to go 23rd. I posted on the ball hockey page, as well as the JHL. I think on the JHL page. Oh, okay. I was gonna send it to him, but that's cool. All right, so we get Lowry picked by Jay. Lowry picked by Jay, 23rd overall. So third round, the 7th pick of the third round. We're now in the final pick of the third round, and that's going over to Vinny. Vinny. So Vinny now calling for his timeout, but he's got about a minute left for his selection. So GMs have a 2-minute window to make a selection once it comes up to them. Is it 2 or 3 minutes? 2, yeah. So 2-minute selection window for the GMs after a selection previously was made, so they get a 2-minute timer that they've got to come up and make a selection. It just expedites the draft. Then we're not sitting here debating all the time, and they're not negotiating trades while we're while we're sitting here. So there will be some trades. That's actually one thing I want to talk to Johnny about is trades that are throughout the season, which I'm going to do right now. So Johnny, is there obviously there's trades that are allowed throughout the season? Okay, okay, gotcha. Okay, so their trades will be allowed, and there will be a trade deadline set either mid or late to mid season, probably just over the midline there at the 5-game mark, maybe the 6-game mark, which will be good. So Vinny's coming up. Let's hear his selection.
We'll go with Darcy Bruno.
My man for OSHL, who I selected, Darcy Bruno goes 24th overall. Brilliant with a shot. He's got good vision. His hands are a little, he's working on them. He's kind of like Cody Sams. He's actually very similar to Cody Sams. He's a good hockey player, got a fantastic shot, and an all around good attitude for uh, the kind of attitude you want to have on your team. He's always positive. Definitely like to have him around when you're losing because the guy just keeps pushing and pushes harder. So I absolutely love it. Love having him on my team. And he's a great pickup for Vinny. So we'll see at the end of the day how that pans out. So Vinny's team now, he's got obviously the first overall pick in Joel Anderson. That then goes at 16th overall to Fisher, and then picks up Sanjay at 17, and now at 24 picks up Darcy Bruno. So all in all for Vinny, I think his team's coming together pretty well. Vinny now does not have a pick. He doesn't have a pick now until 41. So he's got a little bit of a break now. He's got 3 rounds where he's not going to have a pick. Uncle, yeah, he's Uncle's a senior citizen, but he's an absolute beauty. The guy blocks shots like no other. So that's gonna push our next pick here. It's gonna is that Nolan? Is that Musey now? Yeah. So Nolan Musey's gonna have back-to-back picks, and then he's got 25, 26. He's gonna miss 27 and have 28. So what um, Musey did, because Musey's a good player himself, he can do this. He can trade his picks in a way that um, he doesn't need an early pick. So he obviously picked Frank Arnault, which is he's more of a defensive mind, 7th overall, as we can see here. And then came in the 10th round with Zach, and then now he's going to have 3 selections over 4 picks. And Nolan is using his timeout now, so we'll see what that looks like. I'd like to know who he's debating over. He's now working the phones while speaking to one of the other GMs. Have a little peek over there. Let's see what this looks like. What are they doing over there? You can see they're having a discussion over there about something. He's on the phone. He's brokering deals. He's calling his dad. He's calling his dad for permission to stay out later. Oh yeah. So we got Nolan Musey working the phones, standing next to Scott, working on what he's gonna pick up here. He's on his timeout. He's got 1 minute left in his timeout. So Nolan Musi picking 25th and 26th overall. So this is the first and second pick of the fourth round. Some good picks as predicted going through the top 10. Anderson, Holben, Johnson, Davila, and a surprise pickup in Davidson. I am surprised with that. Davidson brings a lot of seniority to a team. He sees a lot of vision. Like, this guy's got unreal vision, so it's nice to see him get picked up early. We'll see if that pans out. But again, a lot of these guys that are playing from a goalie perspective as a GM goalie, they can make these decisions early on who they want to pick up so that they can form their team either to play more defensive or if they want more offense. But that's the thing in a season like this where you have 10 games, you can work those positions out. And I mean, a few of the breakdowns that you need to get through is obviously driving to the net. But if you're gonna pick up a number of players, what's that? Sorry. Oh, trade coming. We have a trade incoming. Let's go over to the trade wall. Focus that in a bit. So Jay and Nolan working on a trade, and the governor is overseeing everything. So Nolan trading one of his picks, 25 and 42 for 34, 36. So we'll see what happens here. So we'll wait for the board to be updated. Okay, board's been updated. So Jay slides into the 25th pick position. Nolan retains his 26th, retains his 28th, but picks up 34, 36 in exchange. So Musi trying to make his position a little bit stronger. So now I believe Jay is on the clock, and he will come up and make his fourth selection. Now he has a goalie selected already, so he also has Mendez and Lowry selected. Jay being a very efficient, good player himself with a good shot, great vision. So I mean, I'm curious if he's building his team more of a defensive team or if he's going to pressure. And I mean, with his first pick being Mendez, it seems to me like he's pushing more on a defensive kind of standpoint. But ultimately, we're going to see by the end of this draft where they stand. Once the draft is completed, we will talk about where I possibly see teams being and what those predictions look like and kind of go from there. So Jay's stepping up right now to make his pick. 1 second. Devin gets selected. I don't even want to try and pronounce his last name. So Nolan steps up. Hold on. You're too fast for a young, tall fella like yourself.
Johnny Durant. Oh, Johnny Durant. Not Lionel.
for his pick. Sorry? Mackenzie. Mackenzie goes, and Dave Shaw selects Mackenzie 27th overall. So Mackenzie knows where, and now Nolan Musey now comes back up stealing food. We'll go to him now.
Wait for the go-ahead. Last time went too quick. Alex Hanna, Bendy.
Alex Hanna, you know what? Let's talk about Alex for a little bit. Alex is a fantastic goaltender. He makes a big difference. I'm excited to see him play in 3-on-3. He's very athletic, so it's going to be exciting. And we'll go to Blake here for his next pick.
Playing a get-together now. Find it on your phone.
29, Jaden Holly.
Friendships. Dreams. Building smart plans always together. Madison, my friend. Or Timber.
Yeah, soybeans. I try to just to I know in my transition, getting my mic back on.
Like I was saying, I kind of messed that up a little bit. Cam mic on. I mixed that up a little bit because I'm doing 20 different things, but ultimately Mackenzie goes on the next pick. So a great pickup from Blake. He's going to take Mackenzie. We can look at the updated board here. So Howley goes 29th overall. He's got Howley, Barnes, Merkler, and Davidson. Building a senior team. He's got a couple young runners. I'm excited to kind of see how a few of these teams are built. Like I was saying before, it's going to be interesting to see how the goalie GMs versus the player GMs fare in a number of these picks. And we now have Phil stepping up. So we'll go to Phil.
Next, Kyle Matheson.
Kyle Matheson, the man in the chat, has been selected. He goes 30th overall to Phil's team. Honestly, a great team to go. A great team to go to. You're joining Johnson, Shields, and now yourself. So
Mike Grency.
okay, so guys coming up quick. They know who they want, which is great. So the 31st pick goes to, I believe it's Grezzi is his last name. Grency. So Grency goes 31st overall. Again, Kyle Matheson. I mean, Matheson brings a number of things to a team. Not only is Matheson, in my opinion, is a digger. He has no issues going into the corners, battling for the ball, battling for position in front of the net, and honestly, he's a smart quarterback to plays. So I see Matheson kind of taking on a position on this team as a second line quarterback. Obviously, he's got Shields as well, but if I had an opinion on this, I think Matheson would be leading that second line. But ultimately, it will determine on these next few picks to see what happens.
It's fresh yet, not French yet.
So Stefan now selected. Frenchette, I believe, is his last name. Wait for the board to be updated here. So Frechette, there's no N in there. Frechette goes 32nd overall. That will conclude our fourth round. We are now just over halfway through the draft. So Frechette goes 32nd overall. Grancy goes 31st, and Kyle Matheson goes 30th. number of these guys bringing some fantastic roles onto these teams. And we're waiting now for, like I said, you'll see the 3 or 4 goalies go early on to teams that want to build that need kind of more of a defensive structure in a goaltender. So now we're waiting for Jay to come up. He's going to be making his selection, so we'll go to the camera.
Tyler Wall.
Tyler Wall now goes. So Tyler Wall is going to go in the first pick of the 5th round. Tyler Wall, a fantastic hockey player, good forward. I don't have stats ready for these guys because they play on so many different teams. It can be difficult. So we're good there. Which now brings us back to Nolan Musey. I'm interested in his next 2 picks here, and then Phil in between. A little bit of a Phil sandwich. So it'll be interesting to see these next 3 rounds. I mean, these are the final 3 picks for your team on average. Not everyone has lower picks if guys traded for higher picks. But I mean, you can see right now how these teams are forming, how they're building teams. Nolan Musey is building, honestly, a pretty solid team. I'm interested to see where this team goes, but we'll go to Nolan now.
Rashid Barmel. Sorry? Rashid Barmel plays Lions. Decent team.
Barmel going, plays for the Lions. I actually reffed the Lions last night. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. So that's a good pick. So Barmel going, plays for the Lions in BHE. Actually, let's take a look at some stats here. I think that's Division 5, 6. Hold on, Phil's up here.
Goalie, Coney Watt.
Another goaltender now goes. So another goalie taken. Phil selects his goaltender. I couldn't hear who he selected, so I apologize. Make sure I'm on the mic. Yeah, we're good. All right, so Ilott goes 35th overall to Phil. I mean, that's a great team you're going to. So not so bad, honestly. And the last goaltender will go to Dave Shaw. Probably the last pick because now he's the last goalie. He wouldn't waste a sooner pick on the last goalie now. And Nolan Musey is going to be coming back up to take a pick here. This will be his 36th overall pick and his second last pick. So we'll see where this goes. You know what, Matheson? I like Wall. I think he's a good player. I think he has a lot of potential too. I've watched him play quite a bit. He's a pretty good all-around player. Definitely no issues in regards to attitude. So that's a big thing, honestly, for me. So we'll go to the pick.
6, Tyler Bannister.
Tyler Bannister. goes for Musie's second last pick of the tournament. Correction, of the season now, not tournament. I mean, it's a long tournament. Playoffs are going to be best of 3, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of going to put an interesting spin on everything. So Shane goes for that 37 pick for Blake. And he's picking Soldiers. We kind of expected that, to be honest. So Bocott is selected, 37th overall, so selected 5th in the 5th round. And I mean, the thing is, too, is a lot of these GMs, if they were playing it properly, most of these guys have played in the OSHL tournaments, and it would have been incredibly important to make sure that they were checking out the stats of previous tournaments. So ultimately, we will see where these last 2.5 rounds land us. Once we conclude the draft, we'll talk about a few of the teams. I'm going to make some predictions in regards to the season. And then we'll kind of go from there because I'm curious. A few of these teams are going to be dicey. I'm not sure where they're going to fall just looking at what has been selected so far. And it's clear that a few of these teams are going to be stronger just simply by looking at the names. But again, you have to look at the GM and what the GM brings to the team, which is obviously a large variable in the selections that are being made for a guy, like I said, like Nolan Musi, who is oozing talent, but not necessarily has the experience to make proper picks or make proper direction or quarterback plays. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Which is why, again, the Johnny Grant pick comes up because Grant is going to be ultimately not being a leader on the team because Nolan Musi is obviously going to be the captain of this team. But at the end of the day, Grant's going to play a significant role in bringing seniority to this team, just as Ellsworth is going to do on his team because, I mean, Ellsworth with all the experience that he has is going to be interesting. We're going to be going
By Matt and Tosha.
Matt selected now. These rounds are going to get interesting because these picks are vital to these teams. So Antoshchuk gets picked 38th overall. What's that? I'm gonna do a final review of all the teams when you guys are all done picking. So I'm going to. Yeah. You can get my opinion when you rewatch this later. Yeah, it's right. So it tracks what's on my screen. So when I'm looking at the board, it covers the board on here. So yeah. So now they just see this. Yeah. And here comes Phil. So we'll go over to Phil.
The old better Rayburn, Ryan Rayburn.
Sorry about that. If you are selecting guys late in this tournament, you want to activate and use all the resources that you can. Ryan Rayburn being an important pickup for um, this last team because, look, I mean, even if you pick a guy in the last few rounds, as long as he can get a few points here and there and maintain the floor when he's out there and make some defensive plays, this is all you can ask for from a guy. So it's important. We'll go to the camera for the next pick.
Brent Miller.
Brent Miller gets picked. So Miller goes. So, like I was saying, for Phil, I mean, Rayburn is a solid pickup. The guy can get a few points. The guy can block shots, and the guy can grind in corners. So, good pickup for him. Jay's pick for Miller is, again, another solid pick. These guys are getting good picks, even in the 5th round, at the end of the 5th round. This is now going to lead us into the start of the 6th round, where now Vinny will make a return. We haven't seen Vinny for 2 full rounds here. Vinny will have the first and the last pick of round 6, and then the first pick of round 7. And as a GM, like I was saying, it's important to utilize all the information that's available to you. I watched Ryan play in the last tournament, and he did very well. So here's Vinny. And Paul McKay goes. So McKay now goes 41st overall, the first pick of the 6th round for Vinny. And like I said, at the end here, we are going to go over a lot of the teams because I want to review and kind of maybe set some predictions to see where these teams are going to land. And it'll also tell me how good I am at doing this. So we'll see. Here's Jay.
Mitch Ferguson.
My man Mitch Ferguson gets picked up. 42nd overall. Ferguson is a great pickup. Sorry? Yeah, so Jay's team is now complete. What does Ferguson bring? Well, Ferguson runs his team Old Iron in BHE. Ferguson is, again, one of those solid quarterback players. I'm surprised he lasted this long in the draft. I personally would have picked him up probably in the 4th round, maybe the 5th round. It's a steal of a deal for Jay and a fantastic final pick for him. So, again, I mean, this is a huge pick for Jay. Ferguson brings a lot of different things to this team. He's going to bring a good shot. He's got good hands, but his main thing is he's got great player vision. He is a great passer. He'll see where the guys are at to make plays when you don't expect them. And that type of guy is the type of guy you want on your team. And he's such a positive attitude. So it's nice to see him go to a good team. So I'm excited for Jay's team. He's got Mendez. He's got Scott Nett, Laurie, Majek, and Miller, as well as Wall. I think I said Wall. So this last pick being Ferguson is massive. So great to see him go to a good team, and we'll see ultimately this coming up season kind of where that team's going to fall. It's hard to say, but I'm definitely going to be ranking the teams at the end of this. And I believe we're in Blake's pick. Nope. Got pick for 2 full rounds, just like Vinny, because he traded for higher picks, and now he's dealing with the last 3 picks. And it looks like they're negotiating a deal as we speak here, so let's take a look. Scott's kind of in the red hat back there. It's hard to see. But the GMs are brokering something here. We'll see. Scott now stepping up. Working on a trade. Possibly with Mercier. So if we look at their positioning, Scott now picking 43rd. Mercier doesn't pick till 50th. So I doubt he's working on anything with Mercier unless he's going to work on this last pick where Scott picks 54th, Mercier picks 50th. But other than that, I can't see. They can't even be working with Mercier, honestly. There's nothing there. So, and we have been confirmed that there has been a trade. So we're just waiting for the word on what that trade actually details. Okay, so he's made a trade with Blake. I believe for the last picks, they're going to swap here. So, yeah. So Durham trades 45-52 to Blake Bulin for 43 and 34. So we'll see how this pans out. And we're just going to update the draft board. And bring us back to proper camera view. Hold on, sorry. I apologize. I was covering the trade over there.
Dave Berube.
So Dave Berube goes. I think I can do this from here. There you go. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Remove. All right, we're good there. Okay, so now that brings up Phil. So we lost Berube there. The trade puts back Scott a little bit, but again, you can see Scott now moves up 2 positions in the final round to 52. Scott's very good at making those trades, and we will go over now to Phil.
Next, Michael Cowan.
So Michael now goes. These last 2 rounds being vitally important. So Michael Callan goes to Phil's team. Phil now has 1 more pick in this round. 46th overall will now go to Scott Dorham, who was pushed back a little bit to improve his final pick. Just discussing the trade that happened, catching everybody up. Yeah. So now Scott is up for his 45th pick. Phil will be then up for his final pick, and then Scott will be back up for his 47th pick. So Scott now on the clock. This is a very important pick for Scott here. As you can see, I mean, he's got a good team. He's got a great goaltender. He's got Ginther. Ultimately, these last few picks for him are going to be vital because these are the guys that are going to close out his team and protect either his back end. I mean, Ginther plays forward as well as defense, has a good shot, um, good athleticism. So, and then again, speaking about Mercier, again, good athleticism, probably one of the best goalies in the tournament. Just a stand-up guy, always positive. This guy, so I was reffing the Banff tournament, and this guy had his shoulder dislocated because a player fell on him. He stood up, popped it back in, and then just kept playing. Um, the guy's insane. I sometimes don't understand how he does it. So definitely one of the uh, better goaltenders in this tournament. So yeah, I mean Scott's putting together a good team, and I mean about Scott himself, he's an unbelievable player. He's got an insane snapshot. He's got a great slap shot, and he's got fantastic eyes like no other. So I mean, Scott himself is a huge threat to this season in regards to where he stands versus some of the other GMs out there. And again, this is some of the adversity that I had faced when I was drafting for OSHL. Is I mean, I'm a goalie. I'm not a good player, and I was playing out for my team. So when you're comparing a guy like Scott Dorham to myself, I mean, he's just miles ahead of where I am. So drafting is so important. It's important to focus on the right players, the right attitude, and making sure that you're building a system within your team. And it can be difficult to do that when you're making trades on the day of the draft because usually guys have their team planned out. So that kind of is where it brings us now. It brings us to Scott here picking 45th overall in one of his final selections. So Scott now has 30 seconds on the clock. 30 seconds on the clock for Scott. He's got to come up and make a selection here. Thank you. So what happens if these guys miss their timer is their position gets pushed back and they get pushed back around. So we'll see what happens here. Oh, he took Vance. Oh, he didn't come up. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Scott has already picked. I apologize. I missed that. He didn't come up and let us know. So Ginther was unaware as well. So it's not just me. So McLennan goes. Vance. We could talk about Vance for a minute as we wait for Phil to come back up. I mean, what does Vance bring to your team? I mean, this guy's a solid all-around, fairly senior player. He's played a lot of 3-on-3. Very smart hockey player. So I'm excited to kind of see what he has to bring, which brings us now to Phil as Phil comes up for his pick.
Going next, Jamie Bates.
So Jamie Bates goes. Jamie Bates now goes 46th overall. He is the 6th selection in the 6th round. So that will complete Phil's team. There you go, Bates. It's you, buddy. You are on a fantastic team. Something to look forward to for you. I'm excited for you because you have a good team to play with. So that's Shields, Johnson, Matheson.
Sorry, one more time. Pete Quinn. Pete Quinn.
So Scott Dorham selects Pete Quinn. Pete Quinn. He's going to go 47th overall, so that's the 7th pick of the 6th round. Scott has one more pick to do. I'm excited for you, Bates. It looks good. Like I said, I mean, you've got a solid team. You've got a decent goaltender. There's a lot of things to look up to, and I mean, obviously playing with Phil as well, is nice to see. So here comes Blake. I lied to you. It's Vinny. Vinny is the next selection, so it looks like Vinny's just working a few things out. Bates, attaboy, you keep those water bottles full, buddy. Hey, don't discount yourself, man. I'm telling you. If you can just get a couple of points here and there and back up, block a couple shots, that's all the team will need from you. So understand what type of guy you're playing with as well. In Phil, I mean, Phil is an unreal hockey player. He will put you on the doorstep with an open net. So be prepared for that. Just get yourself in the open. And looks like Vinny's coming up here. Possibly. He's talking about a couple of different players that he's looking at because so Vinny has the 48th and 49th picks. So the final pick of the 6th round, and he has the first pick of the 7th round, which is our last round. This will round out Vinny's team. Vinny had the first overall pick in Anderson. He's got Fisher, he's got Sanjay, he's got Bruno. Like, I mean, Vinny's putting together a deadly team. So let's see what he has here first.
I'm gonna pick Craig Doran.
Craig Doran gets selected for Vinny's first pick in 48. Of course, Bates, no problem, man. Happy to bring this to you guys. I know it's tough, especially to get out, and it's a Sunday night. Most guys are watching football. I mean, you should be. So I don't mind doing stuff like this, and I mean the coverage during the season. You guys can watch your games back, see where you can improve. It's going to be an exciting season, I think. So stick around. Right after the draft, I am going to rank the teams from first to kind of where I see the teams finishing at the end of the season. And I mean, ultimately, we'll see. Obviously, these predictions are what they are. They are strictly predictions. So it's going to be important to note, but I will make sure that I post where I think the teams are going to fall. Who's going to be major threats on these teams. We'll go through the teams one by one. It'll take an extra probably 10 minutes. And then we'll end the broadcast from there. And I'll make sure my predictions are posted both on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, head over to Twitter and search at Ball Hockey TV. Follow me there as we follow this season all the way through. As well, if you are following here, make sure you're following my channel as you'll be notified when we go live on YouTube. We will be streaming exclusively on YouTube going forward, as the platform has been the best for us so far. So Vinny's on his last selection here. So again, this is Vinny's last pick. This is his final pick. trying to think of who he plays for. I know, but Wall's a different player. You got to remember that. Hold on. Sorry, one sec.
I'm gonna go with Max Raheem.
Max Raheem gets selected. He's going to go to round out Vinny's team. He's going to be the last pick. That's it. That's it for Vinny. Vinny's done. So Raheem being selected very first overall in the 7th round, which then goes to Musi for the final pick of his team. And now these are the final picks for these teams outside of one team. Dave Shaw has 2 selections in the final round. So it'll be interesting to see who he takes. And Musi going to be up now. Musi now comparing players of who's left available. So Nolan Musi now steps up.
Last pick, Adam Tien.
Tien gets selected for Nolan Musi's final selection. So Nolan Musi selects Tien, plays for Old Iron. Great hockey player, solid forward. Dave Shaw now steps up. We can take a quick look. I think they're 7-8. Yeah. So here's Adam Tien's scores. He's got 9 points in 15 games. Definitely a good player. Positive player. It's a good pickup for Musi late. I don't think that this is going to hurt him by any means. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens now. We're going to go to Dave Shaw for his second last pick. Again, we're in the final round. We're in the 7th round. Now, remember, the last player selected in this selection draft is going to get a $50 Amazon gift card from Johnny Grant and the boys at JHL. A nice little thank you for holding on through the draft. So Dave Shaw making some negotiations of the available players. Now, this is going to be Dave Shaw's last player selection, as Dave Shaw is the last, the last GM to select a goaltender. And I believe Cameron is the last goaltender. Yeah, Steve Cameron is the last one left. Okay, so Dave Shaw now calls his timeout as he almost went over. He almost went over the time. Now I'm in a discussion with Nolan Musi behind Ginther there. So Matt's coming in saying he should have went. I mean, if I was in this draft, I would hope I would get drafted last for a free $50. That'd be awesome. So again, this is Dave Shaw's final selection of a player, as he still has a final selection on the board right here in 56, but that's going to go to Steve Cameron because that's going to be his goaltender. Here comes Shaw.
Wade Bruno.
Okay, so I believe that's Wade that goes. So Wade Bruno goes 51st overall, and that was Dave Shaw's last pick. As like I said before, Cameron goes as his goaltender in the 55 position, so the 7th pick of the 7th round. Now the pick goes to Blake Barge in the 53rd position. Oh yeah, we're at Durham for his final selection. So Scott's team looking pretty solid. And Scott now stepping up. We'll turn over the camera to him. I lied to you again. He's making decisions. Who? He did, not anymore. Harvey? Defenseman? I'm trying to recall a player. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he can hurt you, honestly. So Will Harvey's gonna go. Will Harvey, like we were talking about him here and checking out his stats at the same time. Oh, that's Mitch. Will Harvey here. So Will Harvey will be out of the draft now, finishing Scott's team. So Harvey selected 52nd overall, selected 4th in the 7th round. We'll now go over to Blake Barge. Blake Barge now making his final 2 selections.
James Leewood's gone. Oh, I didn't see him on the. He went really early. Where? What's the name? Nolan took him. Left his down. That was another Leewod. Bannister Hunt and then there was another Leewod. First down. No, there was.
After the play, Major Connor. Number 69.
Bannister's gone. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right, so they're working out some details on who exactly he's taken. We'll wait for the update on the board here for Blake's second last pick. So Berube gets selected. Oh, Weewad, sorry, Weewad. Berube was already gone. So James Weewad goes 53rd overall. And now this brings up the other Blake.
Overall, Terry Mandrusiak.
Terry Mandrusiak now goes. Well, Dave Shaw, his goalie, so he gets Cameron. So now Hunt goes final position to Blake Barge. So we don't need to hear from Blake Barge. So now let's talk about some of these teams here, because I mean at the end of the day, Darcy Hunt gets a $50 gift card to Amazon. So I mean let's place some of these teams here. Let me just bring up. Sorry. Yeah, that's where I'm looking right now. It's awesome to have that. So, so I'm gonna rank the teams here, and I'm gonna save this because I want to see how well I do. Um, Now this is a tough one. Who do I think is gonna come in last? Based on the teams and this information, it's tough because I think a few of the problems that are gonna come out of this is goaltending. Yeah, I mean he's got Davila. Okay, so I'm gonna put Barge to come in 8th. I'm gonna put Shaw coming in 7th. In 6th, there's a few components here outside of goaltending. I'm concerned about a few guys, but I'm gonna put Blue in here, and then hey, no worries, buddy. Good job. In 5th place, good brother. Good job. Yep, you did a good job on your selections. I'm just rating them right now, so I'll make sure I post it. Yep, I think so. So a few of the GMs taking off here. Obviously, we're gonna shut her down pretty quick. In 5th place, man, that's a tough one. Like I know Dave Shaw has Holben and Sams, but he's got a tough goaltender and he's got some lower players that are going to struggle with him. And I mean, Dave Shaw's a fantastic player on his own end. Um, but can he quarterback enough with Holben to pull through? Yeah, my pleasure, man. I'm trying to rate the teams right now. Yeah. I'm already committed. I'm already committed. Uh, I'm gonna put Del Cid. Now this is only final placements. This is only final placements for the season. I'm not talking about playoffs. I'm just talking about regular season placements. In 4th place, I mean, Vinny's got a very strong team. Nolan's got a strong team. Phil's got a strong team. Scott's got a strong team. In 4th place, I'm going to put Vinny down. So, and then Dorham's going to go. I think, oh man, that is this is I do believe this season's going to be so tight. It's going to be so tight, and these separations and points are going to be so little, and I could be way off. Um, so at the end of the day, I think I'm going to have to put Musi up in the number 1 position and put Fernak in 2nd. So this is the way I think it's going to pan out. Again, this is a tentative outlook. This is probably going to change once I see these teams play. But ultimately, that's all I'm going to have for right now. Thank you, everyone, for who stuck around. I appreciate you guys. We are going to cut her off here. Like I said, this is kind of where I think the teams are going to go. But again, I've been wrong in the past, so it's difficult to say, yes or no, who's going to win, who's not going to win, because one of these teams, I guarantee you, is going to be surprising us. And even though I ranked Shaw's team low, man, he's got some good players. He's got Holman, he's got Hams, he's got Ellsworth, Sams, he's got Ellsworth and Noseworth. Like, the thing is you can't predict on 3-on-3 a lot of the times because of how this is going to work out. I think Shaw's problem is going to be the goaltender that he has selected, and that's going to be the concern. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'll be posting this stuff up on Twitter. Please follow our YouTube channel and click the little bell there so you can be notified of us, and you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys later.